Devil Circuit for me, I think is a way to measure where I stand in terms of my physical fitness. We remember we had gone once to Greece, and Kian, our son, was like 4 years old. And we had like this big fight because Kian was sitting on Seema's shoulder, and we had this like uphill climb.
Right.
And I was like, I need him on my shoulder so I can work. Because of the success of Zerodha, a lot of people invite me to talk, etc. The only people who haven't is my school and my... This whole prioritizing health, it has to be the focus of every single individual.
Hi, this is Adnan and Zeba. Both of us are here speaking to two amazing individuals, Nithin and Seema Kamath.
Everybody knows these guys. They don't need an introduction. For us, what's really cool about them is that they've been coming to the Devil Circuit races, which is our baby. So Maruti Suzuki Devil Circuit happened in Bangalore just 2 days ago. What makes us come again and again and host these races is the fact that we get absolutely inspirational people who come and join the tribe, who become Devil Slayers, who not only are inspirational for us, Adnan and myself, but for the community as a whole. So with that as a cue, Nithin, Seema, my first question that I would love to know is, why do you come back to Devil Circuit year on year? What does it give you?
I think, like these events, right, like a Devil Circuit for me, I think is a way to measure where I stand in terms of my physical fitness. It's like a benchmark, you set a benchmark last year. Are you there? Are you above it, right? As in you need, otherwise what happens is, you're generally going through your life and there are no benchmarks. So like I have a goal in terms of how fast I want to swim or how much I can run in an hour and stuff like that. So, Devil Circuit for me is like I was telling Adnan, the summit, I'm going to put that wall up somewhere. I'm going to, next time, there is Devil Circuit, I want to climb that 16-foot wall for sure.
What is amazing is what Nithin was mentioning is that he's looking at making the wall in the house to practice, which should be a first, and we would love to shoot that, by the way.
That's a nemesis for quite a few Devil Slayers, the summit, it thwarts you.
Yeah,
but I think that's what it pushes you to do better.
And I think with Seema, I think it's quite like this year, considering, she's just gone through this whole, I think last year around this time is when we figured she's got breast cancer, and then there was, 2 surgeries, radiation, chemo, and she could still come and I think except for one
monkey bar,
the grip, apart from that, I think she kind of did. Yeah, the summit, I put my hand out like this.
Hey, last year we didn't do that. So this year it was amazing that I could hold his hand and But for you, Seema, I mean, we've all read your blog, and your personal journey over the last year has been incredible, and you've been, I think, exceptionally brave to not just deal with it, but to openly talk about it, because this is something, unfortunately, not many people discuss, and especially women, because breast cancer, unfortunately, is now very, very common. Many people go through it. There are screenings, and there are so many tests now that can help prevent, but unfortunately, the lack of awareness and the lack of comfort in being able to discuss topics like these is still not there. So how did fitness play a part in your journey, and how you coped with it? Was that something that you think helped?
Definitely. So I think the only reason I was able to deal with my cancer and everything else was because I was so ready after surgery, after radiation, after chemo. I was so ready to just get on the treadmill. I think that's what was pushing me, and because I was we had a healthy lifestyle, I think I was able to recover from all of those things pretty fast. So it definitely helped, and sharing was, I'm a private person, but then I guess he kind of pushed me to, share this, because not many, as you mentioned, no one wants to talk about this. Once I shared my story, I realized there are so many women, who are going through the same thing, but they are not really talking about it. It's not talked about.
What is ironical is you guys have run the Devil Circuit, and because we've been so sort of not smart about data mining our own database, right? We had no idea that you'd be a part of this. And during COVID, I got to read your blog, right? So it was as a someone of the opposite gender. When I read your blog, I got goosebumps, right? The honesty spoke to me, and immediately, I couldn't find you on LinkedIn. I pinged him, and that's how I think we started talking, and we're sitting here a couple of months later.
No, man, I'll tell you the joke.
He got so excited. Why? Do you know who emailed me?
The reason is because the first time we ran the Devil Circuit, I was in awe with your energy on the stage, right? Because I can't talk with excitement for too long. If I'm talking 5 minutes, I'm sapped of energy. I can work out, I can go run a marathon. Right. I was like, how are you even doing it? And I'd shown her your pre and post photos. Right. After we did the first one. Right. And then, so when you reached out, I'm like, guess who reached out to me? Yeah, so maybe I should have, proactively reached out as well.
No, but I'm just saying, it's just such a small world, right? We were all in, within talking distance of each other. And I would never have had the opportunity of meeting you guys, working out, doing a workout called Agony, which you missed, and, Nithin didn't. But we made up by doing this, bunker fit roulette today. But, like I said, it touched me, and I just had to reach out to just connect with you, because I just thought your story was amazing, and it needed to be told to people. Because I keep saying this, and I'm not selling anything, but real people have real impact.
Yeah. No, I think, like even in business, right? I think one of the core philosophies that has helped Zerodha become successful is to really open source every single thing that we know. Right? Because the more you share, the more you gain. And that's been at the core of everything that we've done. Yeah. Right? Because we've got like 11 million customers, and we haven't spent a single rupee on marketing and advertising. And there is no
unbelievable, actually.
Yeah. I don't think there's any company in the world. And then when I look back, and the only reason for that is this philosophy, which is you just share without any expectation. Because when you have expectation and you share something, you tend to get disappointed. If you get disappointed, you won't do it. Yeah. Right. So, but if you share without any expectation, there is no disappointment. So you can continuously do it. So I think like Seema and I, at least my spiritual guru is Kailash, who is our CTO.
Yes.
So
both us
actually now he kind of keeps pushing us to think about these things. So I think the blog was. It's quite crazy how many people ask me, how's your wife? Yeah. Every time I go out, right? So it's just crazy how many people it has reached. And the ones who come and ask me are not like founder friends, these are women, right? Like who I think are touched by what she wrote, Seema wrote, so it's quite cool.
I was touched by your courage and your willingness to share, and how quickly you wanted to put it behind you. I think you mentioned that you were on a treadmill in like a month or so.
It's crazy. There was one photo which we didn't put on that blog, which is, like after her surgery, they had this tube which collects the blood, right? Like excess blood.
So they have a pouch where.
So she's like, like holding the pouch and walking on the treadmill. And,
wow, that's insane.
It kind of looked a little too, explicit.
I was worried he's going to go way ahead of me. So I'm like, I have to catch up.
So you guys are competitive.
Yes.
Who's more competitive?
I think there has to be a little bit of healthy competition.
No, when it comes to fitness, the only fights, if I were to look at the last 20 years.
Oh my God, yes.
The only fights we've had have been, you worked, we remember we had gone once to Greece, and Kian, our son, was like 4 years old. And we had like this big fight because Kian was sitting on Seema's shoulder, and we had this like uphill climb.
Right.
And I was like, I need him on my shoulder so I can burn, I can burn more calories. And she's like, no, he needs to be on my. And we had like this a mega argument, so.
Like normally we don't argue about a lot of things. We don't argue. But then when it comes to fitness, I'm like, you did an hour extra. I have done very less. I have to match up.
No, but it kind of keeps it, I keep thinking about it. Would I have been as motivated to work out every day without a companion? I don't know. I think it is knowing that, every morning we get up at 5, and by 5:30 we work out for an hour, hour and a half. I don't know if I would be able to do it daily, so.
without a partner.
Without a partner. And probably she's thinking the same, right? She's like, oh, he'll get up and go work out, so I can't, So.
So, you know, people say that one of the most common excuses for not working out is that you're busy. You don't have time. You guys managed to build a unicorn and still find time. How do you do that?
The thing is, if you want to stay busy, of course, there'll always be something to stay busy with, And the thing is, like, this is something I've realized with most people around, right? We're always prioritizing what is right for the short term and kind of compromising on long term. Like, be it a business, be it health, whatever, right? Because when for you, staying healthy for me right now, I've been like listening to a lot of these, Andrew Huberman, Peter Attia and all of that, right? As in, one of the concepts I really like now is this whole decadal life, which is, how do you want to live your last 10 years of your life and then make your lifestyle changes today so you can lead that last 10 years that way, right? So if the last 10 years of my life I want to lead, physically active, hiking and working out and etc. So I need to make changes today. I can't be 60 years old and say, I'll make lifestyle changes. And from 70 to 80 I can be a certain way. Giving yourself 1 hour or walking while taking calls, or I think there's enough time everyone has to give themselves an hour, because I think the quality of your life improves and you can actually do much better even at business and work if you're generally healthier.
I think you're absolutely right. I think people are fooling themselves if they say they can't take out an hour.
Right.
And I have all these guys, who fit-looking individuals, men and women, who I say, come and run the Devil Circuit. No, I'm not ready. I said, it's what's there to be ready about? Come and see where you stand today, so that you start on your journey on becoming that, the stronger version. But they keep deferring it. And I think after COVID, what people need to realize is that life is precious. Life is about moments. Life is about experiences. When I look back at, whatever the last few decades, what do you remember? For you, for example, now you guys are arguing about, who's carrying your son on. That's an amazing story. That's super funny. And to give him credit, by the way, when we did that workout at that football ground and with the whole Zerodha leadership, etc., he aced it. And I was blown away by his level of fitness. I said, you're easily the fittest entrepreneur I've ever met. He said, no, you haven't met Seema.
Speaking of that, has that been your thinking throughout when you started Zerodha, or is that something you've evolved into over the years?
I think she was a lot more motivated and had a goal in her life than I did, because she came from Belgaum to become an air hostess.
I know, right? I wanted to travel the world. Earn good money.
And she had all these goals in life, right? She knew where she wanted to go when we met. I didn't know where I wanted to go. I was trading the markets. I was working in a call center. I had debt on me. I was trying to just make my ends meet. And I, during my school and college also, I think I was one of the the worst kids in the class. In all sense. So I don't think any, I keep talking about this, the only, with the success
I'm
of...
sure the teachers remember you fondly.
Now they must.
No, the thing is, the joke, it's not really a joke, but, we keep talking about this, is in that, because of the success of Zerodha, a lot of people invite me to talk, etc. The only people who haven't is my school and my... No, but one of the things I realized, when I look back at my life, as in, I think one of the things what happens is people who are very outperformers in school and college, right? As soon as they get the job, they feel like they have arrived in life, right? So that whole curiosity, wanting to learn, wanting to grow, the intensity dwindles. And I think one of the things, if I look at my life, I think I've done okay, is that curiosity has remained. While I might not have been curious to learn maths and science in school, but I was generally curious about, I used to play different kind of sports, different kind of music, so there was that curiosity, and that didn't stop. I think, and then, I think it compounds over time, you keep doing small things. Even in workout, we guys, experiment with different things, because, we play sports, now she's joined tennis, so I think every time you learn, you slightly improve some way, and then it compounds over time. And so I think this self-discovery, right, as in life is, I've been, like I said, I think even now, I'm not really sure if I have answers to all questions, but...
You definitely don't.
But then I'm curious to figure it out, and I think one thing for sure is, I know 100% that this whole prioritizing health, it has to be the focus of every single individual. And this is why, like we talk about what we do in the office, and even in the business, we're trying to nudge everyone to think about health and what you eat. Stay fit. And because otherwise, what is the point of all the money if you don't really have the health, right? It just makes no sense at all.
And how far has that message gone down into your teams at Zerodha? I know you guys have been very, very active about employee wellness and employee health, and of course, lots of initiatives and incentives to get people to prioritize health. How's that going?
See, this incentive, I'm not really happy with doing it. This whole trying to monetize, like bring in this money angle to get people think about health, which is like everyone should bare minimum do that much, right? But it's just an experiment, so like I said, this whole curiosity of experimenting. So the first year we did this health challenge. We said, you set your fitness goal, health goal. You self-declare that you've reached there. If you do that, we give you a month's bonus, and then we have a lucky draw of 10 lakh rupees. I think we saw at least like 40 transformations that year.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, some crazy transformations.
Like crazy. I mean, there are people who lost 30 kilos, 40 kilos, and etc. But then, like the majority of the team didn't really do anything much, and they set very low goals because we had said, you can set whatever goal.
Yeah.
The second year we said, we'll do BMI. So we said everyone on the team less than 25 BMI. I know, I got trolled quite a bit for this, but that BMI is not not the right measure. We had discussed internally saying BMI is not the right measure because someone's bone density could be more.
But you need to start somewhere. You need some hook to get people onto that journey.
Yeah, so BMI brought in more accountability because you had to now that whole year the average BMI of the team was around 26. It's dropped to 24, which is not bad. For it's actually, if your entire office's BMI, like we are 1,100 people on the team, is 24, we might be among the least in the, in the corporate world.
Absolutely, without a doubt. But I think, the whole realization has to come from within.
Correct, yeah.
Because then there's no incentive required.
Yeah, but sometimes you need a nudge, you need a motivation, you need something to help you along.
I'm sure, the 40 transformation stories you're talking about, I'm sure within those 40, perhaps there'll be like 5 Ironman. Individuals will go on to sign up for Ironman competition because they would have seen the benefit of the change in their behavior, their confidence, and just the energy levels. Personally, like the days I don't work out, don't come near me. Right, I'm like miserable.
Yeah. No, but I think the other problem, which I think when we talk health and fitness, right, is people think how I look is equal to my being healthy, and I think Indian genes generally is not. We are not very well. I mean, you are blessed.
No, you're right. And we are not naturally athletic as people. We are not naturally lean.
And then we're comparing ourselves to these models on Instagram. And I keep telling, we keep discussing about this. I keep looking at Rock and I'm like, get up.
You too? So he had the rock alarm to wake us up.
Have you heard the rock alarm?
What's cooking, that one?
No. Wake up, my sunshine, wake up.
At 5 in the morning when you have the rock blaring, that suddenly you're in deep sleep.
Zeba hated it, I got away for a couple of weeks. Wake up, my sunshine, wake up. At 5 o'clock in the morning he goes.
That's one of the things that we've been trying to tell in the office as well, which is, don't put the looking fit goal. Because then it's very hard to...
But I mean, everyone wants to look good.
Yeah. No, but the thing is, you can't be healthy only to look good.
No, I know. But
because,
it's very difficult not to put that as... Because see, so many doctors have asked me, you have to work a lot after the, since you have been diagnosed, these tablets will generally, you'll put on weight. You have to really work out. Do you sweat? And I'm like, then that's when you wonder, I'm working out so much. These people don't really figure it out, is it?
Can't you see? My biceps.
The joke, there is a pediatrician, when I have cold cough, his friend's dad, once a few years back I went there, I used to lift a lot of weights and run and all of that. So he looks at my weight and he says, you're slightly overweight. Why don't you go walking every evening?
No,
no, he didn't say that. He said, you know, even walking helps.
I was like, I couldn't sleep for 2 days. I was like, dude, what am I doing wrong?
So we had this joke when we got married. So I was like 94 kilos and like obese and round and everything. And so she would like, you know, pick on me and say, you know, so when are you getting into your 80s? You know, no, that was the joke, right? So
82 was
82,
the goal.
right? So I said, yeah, very soon. Give me 3 months.
6 months. Give me 6 months.
Give me 6 months.
So for about 5 years, he kept asking for 6 months.
And then eventually, you know, when I started the whole Devil Circuit, and then people started coming and asking me, so can you walk the talk? Can you do it? I said, look, no, I think I've got to change myself, and just to like not to make a fool of myself when I'm pushing people and saying, do it. I then, you know, started on this entire journey, and now Zeba's like, you know, go back to the old self because I don't like the new you. Because,
No, man, I think, you know, one of the, like, what excited me so much about you and Devil Circuit when the first time I met is because there are very few people who actually walk the talk. Like, you know, like, even be it fitness or be it, like, you know, in our industry, like broking, like, you know, like, there are people who look at business as an opportunity just in terms of monetizing and making money out of it, right? As in, you need to be passionate about it, and that was oozing out of you. So it's just, you know, like, that's why I got so excited when you reached out on LinkedIn. I'm like,
I was like, hey, do you know who emailed me? I'm like, who?
Can't believe, you know. I was like sitting there, you know, looking at LinkedIn. I said, okay, let me click on this blog.
No, because it was so surreal, right? Like when we finished this time. I mean, you were there, like the Adnan, right? Because I remember the last time we did, it was like, oh, we finished, and then, you know, we just saw him on stage, and we're like, oh, you know. But this time he was there.
no, and I think you know, I told her also. I think Devil Circuit is by far. I've done like bunch of events, fitness events. I used to cycle quite a bit. But I think like I've come out of every Devil Circuit. We've done like 4th one, this was probably, and feeling very excited and, you know, looking forward to the next one. Like, you know, like I've set a goal for the next one. So I mean, I think, kudos to, you know, you.
No, I think
team
it's,
and, all of
I
you
mean,
guys,
I have the easy part. I think the hard work is
Yeah,
actually on
I'm
Zeba's
sure.
side.
Absolutely, yeah.
It goes.
Who am I to argue with that? No, I think it's, you're right. And I think that's why a big part of Devil Circuit is Adnan, without a shadow of doubt. And I think that's the reason people attach to him is because he genuinely believes in what he says and what he does. And that discipline, I think, is incredible. I don't have that discipline. I do work out. I like sports, so I go horse riding. I would play with my kids. I would go play a bit. But I don't have the discipline that he has to do it consistently day in, day out.
I mean, it's not even just about the discipline, right? When you talk about it, like, you know, it comes through, right? Like if you talk to me about investing and trading, right? I'll be like, you know, suddenly like full wired and, you know, like, you know,
That's how he is about fitness.
about fitness and etc. So that's quite cool. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's. I think we're blessed. I mean, we've had. I'm sure, even in your case, when you started, I'm sure you must have had many moments when you didn't know how you're going to sort of bankroll the next month's operations, etc. Right? Because we started something that didn't exist in India. We were the first ones. Most people, when we tried explaining obstacle, they said, "दौड़ है, दौड़ नहीं है." अच्छा, आप पैसे भी लोगे? हाँ सर, पैसे भी लेंगे. अरे ये क्या बात हुई? So, you know, going from there.
Yeah, no. When I met Seema's parents in 2008-9, asking for her hand, her dad, who was in the army, he asked me, "Why don't you do some government job?"
I mean, you know, secured salary, pension.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah. So
It's not happening.
I mean, like today I can say it, but back in 2008 I might have thought about it twice. You know? So like maybe.
Well, what's it like working together? Was that an easy decision? What has that
See,
always
I
felt
joined-
like an easy decision?
I joined a little later.
Yeah, so the thing is, so Seema was in Singapore Airlines in 2011-12, and so we had like a long distance marriage for like 3-4 years, and
Five.
5 years. You know, so so I think Zerodha had just started. I think we were in the 2nd year, 3rd year when she came in. I think with Seema, you know, she was looking at the quality team, she was looking at HR. I don't think Seema and me was a big issue because me and Nikhil, my younger brother, we said, we are also very competitive, both of us. So we've said, so when we started Zerodha, the plan was that he continues trade. We both were traders before. We used to trade money and make money, and then we spotted this opportunity to be a better broker. And so when Zerodha started, we kind of said, he continues trading, I go build this business. And if this business doesn't work, I get back to trading. That was really the plan B. And we said, we'll not interfere with each other's work, right? Because we knew that if you interfere, it's gonna clash. And I think with family it's because I think with family what happens, you take it for granted, and which is what it's a problem. I mean, if I'm talking to someone else, I don't take him for granted. So everything, every doubt, I'll put it out in the open and I'll say, clarify it. But with family, I'm like, oh, chalta hai types, right? So with Nikhil and I think the things that we've done right is we've stayed away from each other's path. And I mean, in the sense we still discuss about business, etc. But it's I never ask him how his trading is going. He never really bothers and asks me how is the business doing of sorts, And but I think if we had gotten into that, let's talk,
let's do
debate,
it together.
I think it would have been very tough.
True. But
how's been your experience?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I'm a husband and wife, at least here,
no, so I think, if I was working with, I think pros
if
and
we were
cons,
not
right?
married, this business would not have
Yeah.
lasted 10 years. I would have gone back to my wife and said, oh my God, I work with this horrible woman. She's driving me insane,
But it's true. We had to make it work because we had to go back home together, right?
Yeah.
So
then I would end up saying sorry every day.
that's true. He's a very good
that's why
apologizer.
it lasted for so long.
So
Now in this new way of working where there's a lot of work from home, and at best there's a hybrid model because people are very comfortable, living in smaller towns and working in large organizations, or giving more time to their family than spending 3 hours commuting to work and back, right? So there's this whole change. In this kind of a work model, how do you keep that culture true? How do you keep people true to what the value system you guys have built over the years is, and how do you bring them into that fold?
So we were 3 years back, we were at 1 million customer, we were at 1100 people on the team. We were at 11 million customers, we were 1100 members on the team. Right? So, I think, we've spoken internally about it, it's really hard to transition that culture. So we've been lucky that, because the existing people, we've worked together for so long, that we know each other well, so there is trust built. Right? I think it's very hard to do it remotely. But we've also decided that we'll be permanent work from home, at least for majority of our team, which is out of the 1100, maybe 900 people. And we also nudged them to kind of move away from Bangalore, etc. So 70% of our team now lives outside Bangalore. If
better quality of life and
healthier life, better quality, better food,
commute and stuff. Actually, I read somewhere or I heard something about the low attrition rate in your tech team. That I think you've lost only one person or two, which is remarkable because in the last couple of years, when this boom was being witnessed across and people were jumping jobs every month.
Yeah.
And there were all kinds of crazy incentives, especially in the tech sector.
Someone's getting a BMW.
I think it's again, I think the tech and the core product team and the core business team, say 100 of us, I think we've lost 2 or 3 people over the last,
unbelievable.
From the time we started the business, maybe 4 now, and I think there are 2 or 3 reasons, right? We didn't take the easy way of finding someone who already knows everything. Right. These are all people who joined us, grew along with us, and then there is more loyalty to the business, right? Because people who come for money go for money, right? As in, if you're trying to attract someone by saying, I'll give you 20-30% more. He's going to shift for someone else who's going to give 20-30% more, right? So we've been very particular about this. Now with tech, Kailash is one of the we're a big force proponent in this whole free and open source. People who build products and open source it. I believe it's the truest form of art, which is you create an art and then you give away for others to use it for free, right? And so all the people on the tech team are from that force background. Right. So it's a hard way of building business. But one thing I've realized with Zerodha is that like people, right, need at least 2 years to get the overall context of the business, right? And after 2 is when they start contributing to the business. But when I look at some of my peers, 2.5 years is when they quit the business. The average lifespan of a person in a company is 2. So by the time they're actually about to deliver to the business is when they actually quit. And with us, like there are a few of people, who are so raw. I still remember like the first day they walked in, like couldn't make a sentence, and they've turned into brilliant people, today. And I think I get so excited just thinking about their journey, the fact that we have been able to influence them to grow intellectually from wherever they were 5 years, 6 years back, and to where they are now. So
because I think you give them the encouragement and the platform and the support, right? Because people are always afraid of falling. That's the end of the world. But I think kudos to you for creating that environment.
No, it's not. I mean, there is like full. There's a not just me, right? There's Kailash, there is Nikhil, there is Venu, Hanna. I mean, there are like there's an extended team. I think, like I said, right, in our life, there's all luck is such a crucial thing, right? As in just getting the right kind of people to come together. That whole right place, right time is so critical. Like for example, Kailash was doing a startup, and that startup, these guys were working out of an apartment in front of our old office. Like,
So you literally just bumped into him.
Yeah. One of the co-founders saw the board saying, let me figure what's happening. He walked in. Like I said, that day when he walked in, if I was not there in the office, Kailash wouldn't have happened. Or Karthik, who's helped us build Varsity. I mean, he's a really old friend. One day randomly I asked him to, like, what's happening? If I hadn't done that random, what's happening, this wouldn't be here.
It's a series of events that take you from one place to another over a period of
time. But one thing I think, if you're passionate about the cause, like, which is what I really like about, especially with Adnan is that I was super passionate about trading markets from early 2000. So if someone else saw me being so passionate, right, and when you're doing it not with any money angle and just saying, I really love this, I'm doing it because I think it's the right thing to do, then your odds of finding the right people also increases significantly. It's just that you just have to spend enough time to find the right people. And I think being in Bangalore, has also helped, right? Because the Bangalore ecosystem also provides you with the right kind of talent as well, right? I mean, if we were thinking like this and say we were in, I don't want to name a place, but some other place, right? This is not Timbuktu. Maybe, we wouldn't have come across like-minded people, because it is important for like-minded people to come together for,
So when you hire, I mean, we're going through, this exam season where kids are now applying to the IITs of the world, and suddenly there are those career choices where everybody's now on tuition from grade 9 onwards, right? Because you want to get into an engineering college, or you want to get into a particular type of college, whether it's medical, engineering, whatever. When you guys hire, what do you look for? Is that important, your educational background, the institute you've come from? Does that play any part at all, or is it just the person you are?
I mean, I haven't once asked a person's educational background. Like recently we hired one guy, and then he said he's an MBA after he joined. I said, dude, we hired an MBA, what the hell? Because we had this running joke that we were on a So, no, I think it's just generally, we have never really hired based on education. And
so people who are listening and want to join Zerodha, what is it that you look for?
I mean,
what makes a good
you need to be passionate about what we are trying to solve for. Right? As a business, I think what we're trying to solve for is we want to help Indians do better with their money. I mean, the vision has changed over time, but today we are for that. And if people think, they want to be part of the org, with this vision in mind, that they want to solve for it, and they've kind of worked, with their head towards this idea, because you can't just get up one day and say, no, I want to solve for the money, right?
Sure.
You need to put some time and effort to think about it. Maybe write some blogs. Right? I think one of the good things about the way Kailash hires for the tech team is anyone who wants to join the tech team, he needs to have a FOSS hobby project. Like he says, you can't be a programmer and not have a hobby project.
Right.
I mean, you can't just have gone to whatever, the certification exams that says you are a programmer and not have built a project. I mean, like if I say I'm into fitness and health, etc., and if I can't say do 25 push-ups, right? I mean, it's like that, right? And you need to walk the talk of sorts, So I think at least for the core team, like people who do important things at Zerodha, I mean, it's essentially if they're passionate about the cause, and education, etc., doesn't matter. We've actually not hired a single person from IIT and IIM till now because we found it very tough to culturally fit that person into the org, right? Because the thing about IIT IIM is, when you're in that kind of environment, you're wired to think about how quickly you can grow in life and etc., right? And that culturally doesn't fit well because here what we're saying is, I can't tell you how quickly, when someone comes to me and says, Nithin, how quickly I'll become from this to this. I said, dude, I don't know. I don't know where our business is going to be, so how can I tell you where you will be, So, but if you're okay saying that, we get up every day, we keep doing something different and we keep getting better as a business. And if you're okay to take the chance, then it's okay. And that, we find it very hard in this people, even from the startup ecosystem, right? People who work for startup ecosystem, they're wired in a certain way today culturally, which is, I want to grow fast, I want to grow at any cost, I want to quickly go from point A to point B. And I don't think there's anything in life that can happen quickly, So it's,
there's this commonality of thought. You want Indians to make smart choices with regards to investing and finance and their different products as far as insurance, etc., is concerned, and you want to help them out. That's your true passion, and that's the reason I think you were very successful, because you were not working for profit or working for greed, but for profit. Because as an organization, I tell my team that we will work for profit but not for greed. But what I like to do is be able to impact lives, and I think for the first time, when I started the business, we did this first race in Ludhiana. I was mentioning this to Seema, that some random person came because I was wearing an organizer t-shirt and just gave me a hug and said, thank you for the best Sunday of my life. And I look back at the event 44 editions ago, and I look back at, the event we did in Bangalore, day before yesterday, world of a difference. I mean, it was, comparing a 7 Series to like a moped, But even then, that person felt the need to come and say thank you. And for me, it was an eye-opener because, I had been selling IT solutions where the minimum ticket price was $500,000. And no one ever said, thank you, good job, you're taking it. They said, your project overran, your budget overran. And here, 1,000 rupee ticket, Ludhiana was 1,000 rupee ticket. And they're coming and saying thank you. And it was so refreshing that, wow, so this is fun. And maybe this can...
And it's also good karma, right? Yeah. It makes you feel better about life, about yourself, about who you are and what you're doing in the world.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of the things that, we started this initiative called Rain Matter in 2016. As we became successful as a business, we started making some money. We said, we need to collaborate and associate with other people and see if there is a way we can solve for this problem. Right? So we called it Rain Matter FinTech, and we started investing and helping startups working on this money problem, which is making life easier for people, managing money easier for people. 25, 30 startups are part of the portfolio, and like some of the coolest FinTech startups working on savings and investing. Then, I had this whole kida on health, right? As in my head, I've always thought that, there should be, businesses out there that are making it easier for people to make healthier choices, right? It started for me personally, with desserts. I have like a sweet tooth. I'm like, why should I put on 700 calories? 100 grams of this should be like 750 calories. Is there no way this dessert can taste as good?
But be 70 calories.
Not 70, but maybe 300 per 100 calories.
I'm like the, a free brand ambassador for Naturals ice cream, right? So, I mean, I have like, the coffee, the tub, half a tub a day. Okay.
Coffee walnut?
Yeah, coffee walnut. I love it.
God.
Here, Naturals ice cream, please send me a few samples. if you go and look at my Zomato account, it's being delivered. Swiggy Genie, by the way. And I just can't control myself, but then I make sure that I wake up the next morning and burn those calories out.
No, but the thing is, so it kind of, it started like that, but we have now set up like an allocation saying that we need to kind of help startups and businesses that are making it easier to make healthier choices. Yeah, so there's a very interesting startup that we've recently, it's called React Labs. So, because I think one of the big problem today is people eating outside food, right?
Yeah.
So this is, these guys have made like this new cooker type. It's automated cooking. It's just phenomenal, So
automated cooking?
Yeah, so you just take your, so it has different menus. So it says, get these vegetables, put it in this, it chops, it sautés, it grinds, it does everything, So it's quite, yeah.
So you put it in these boxes and then switch it on and...
It does everything. You just get the output, it's just much cleaner. Yeah, and there is Ditch the Guilt, this is I have it every day, So usually after my meal, I have like small piece of chocolate.
I had those at your house after breakfast the other day. Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right. When we started this journey, we had no idea, how far out this is going to last. But as we keep getting older as a business, I keep getting excited because I keep seeing younger and younger Indians coming and participating and wanting to do better and wanting to do more. So who would have thought that, people who are running in the competitive category are now spending money to take part in these international races and winning those races. They can't win in India and at the Devil Circuit, but they're winning everywhere else. It's not as if they want to take the back seat and just watch others.
And also the realization about personal health and wellness is setting in much earlier. Now 20-year-olds want to live a healthier life. They don't want to go out partying and drinking. They want to focus on their bodies and on their fitness.
We keep talking about this. So we're a Brahmin, okay? So my mom, when I was young, when I started first lifting weights, she had told me, if you want to get muscles, you need to eat ginger garlic. I had access to no internet. There was no bodybuilding. So, I got myself to dumbbells. Right. And then after every workout, I was doing ginger and garlic.
This is not the time when you called Seema. Right? This would never have happened. Right?
No, but what I'm saying today, if you look at 16-year-old kids today or 17-year-old, they have access to all the information they need. Right? The internet has just democratized this information or access to information. So, and that's why I think, there is a lot of hope that, Indians will win more Olympic medals. Indians will do better in sports and internationally, I think we'll, as a country, I think a lot of Indians will do well.
So, in June this year, obstacle running has become an Olympic sport. So from 2028, we'll see OCR as an Olympic sport. And that gives me like goosebumps that, maybe can we have a winner of the Devil Circuit? If nothing else, at least represent India.
And potentially win. Yeah, that's the dream, right?
Well,
That'd be just the most amazing
the biggest
thing.
High, who knows? Because it's a disruptive format. It's something new for everybody.
And it doesn't need a professional skill set. You don't need to have spent years and, started when you were 12 and worked your way into a circuit.
So every obstacle, every time it'll be like a surprise, right?
Yeah, it'll be a surprise, it'll be a shorter format, but it'll be competitive. It'll be like different individuals competing, but like,
So we're just waiting for them to announce what the Olympic format will be and what that would look like. They haven't done that, but
I'm
it'd be
super excited that, I'm too old. Maybe Nithin, you could give it a try.
What is it like? Plus 60.
But I wanted to ask this question, right? You guys, self-made, successful entrepreneurs, made a name for yourself, and you come from sort of, if I can say, similar backgrounds. My mother was a teacher, working class backgrounds, and my father was trying to build businesses, and none of them actually worked, but I learned persistence and courage from him. And now, you are where you are, mashallah. It's fantastic, and it's refreshing to see somebody, build something. When it comes to your son, right, people will look at him differently, right? He's Nithin Kamath's son, and how do you look at, instilling the value system that you both grew up with, because it becomes difficult, right? And how do you, like for us, for example, I have, with my children that sometimes, right, I tell them you got to be hungry, life is good, life is comfortable, parents are working, but why do you want to be? What do you want to do? And Zeba keeps telling me, let it be, let them be. Do you see that? Like, I mean, he's very young right now, but like, do you guys discuss this? Like,
no, I mean, we keep discussing about this. I think personally for me, I think outside business, I think the biggest challenge is going to be
Yeah, the son.
the son. Like how do we get him to grow without taking things for granted? I think like personally, I spend like every night 30-40 minutes before sleep trying to talk to him about like maths and science and doing quizzes and essentially trying to help him discover something that he loves. And I think I got like super lucky in my life that I found this very early in life, right? And and for every person it's different, and I don't want to enforce my choices. For example, he plays good drums. I'm like usually saying Pink Floyd. I'm like saying, he's like, no.
To a 7-year-old.
But he's listening to like Post Malone, and so.
You're saying CCR. What the hell what is CCR, right?
And I also like Hindi music, right? Once in a while I'll be like, come, let's play Pukarta Chalo, man. And I like, So the idea I think is to figure how do we. I mean, she's a lot more strict in terms of, like she's the one. Like
I'm the one constantly.
But somebody has to be, right? You need those guardrails.
Yeah, so but it's a challenge. I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Like I think it's going to be a self-discovery, and but it is. We try to put him in the right kind of a school where people don't. Kind of give too much weightage to the background he comes from, right? Because it's, if you put him in a commercial school where teachers will like, oh, it's his son, so he needs brownie points. I mean, we've been very conscious about those kind of decisions. And we try to get him to work out. We try to get him to play sports.
I mean, luckily, I went to a great school. I went to the Doon school, but when I was in school, there was no internet. And I had no idea of knowing who Nithin is, who Seema is, and you became friends when you were like 12-year-olds with people you actually enjoyed, not because of the background they came from. So, some of the friends that I have even today were like, sons of government scholars, came on scholarships, but they're like brothers today. Some of them were sons of very successful industrialists. But I thought, the reason I sent my son to that school was because I'm hoping, he comes out with those same friendships, relationships, because that's what matters. That, don't be friends with people because, their father is so-and-so, their mother is so-and-so. It needs to be pure. And
also, I think the other challenge today is how do you not get the kid to get consumed by technology, right? Which is
the biggest challenge.
Which is like really, I think, big challenge, and because even when you're selecting the school, we're very conscious about school, which is as far away from technology as possible. Because there are schools that are giving iPads to kids and all. I'm like,
so everything is done on the iPad.
Everything
there is hardly any interaction with the teacher.
Yes.
There is only one teacher, and they will just be around.
I mean, it might work in the future, but I don't know. I'm confused about it.
Yeah, because one part of you wants them to be so savvy technologically. The future is AI, the future is internet. So you want them to kind of be at that cutting edge of that change. But you also want them to have the kind of childhood you had, which is, climbing trees and jumping off roofs and not breaking your legs and discovering that.
Right? I was very happy at the back.
Like real football, not like FIFA. Whatever.
Not FIFA 22.
Yeah, so
I think you guys are fantastic, man. I think we're blessed to have you in our lives, and I hope to see you stronger and fitter, and we're doing more workouts, and if nothing else, we've got to do the high rocks. High rocks has to happen. you know,
Yeah.
I'm
No,
gonna
no.
send you-
I think next year summit for sure. For me, 16 feet. Is it the tallest one?
14.
14.
14.
And the other one is 12.
It is 12.
Yeah, I think for her 12 feet and for me 14 feet. You
I
know.
want to
to
do
14, yeah. You
all
look 14
kind
to
of monkey
14.
bars.
Yeah. But I want. Where's the guitar? You gotta sing a song. You gotta sing a song. We're gonna end with this.
So every morning he sings.
Yeah.
He has his Akashvani I call.
So after workout, I have like 20 minutes of
Jam
like,
session.
like
After
no,
the workout.
yeah, I mean,
after the
I'm
workout, he'll be sitting, he'll be singing. So the day he doesn't sing, I'm like, Akashvani nahi hui aaj.
So let's end with your favorite song.
शाम सवेरे तेरी यादें आती हैं, आंखें मुझको मेरे यूं तड़पाती हैं। ओ सनम मोहब्बत की कसम, na 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 na, oh. अनजाने राहों में तू क्या ढूंढता फिरे, दूर जिसको समझाओ तो पास है तेरे। प्यार है खुदा, प्यार है खुशी, प्यार से दोनों जहां। प्यार है खुदा, प्यार है खुशी, प्यार से दोनों जहां। तेरा ये आशियाना, मेरा भी आशियाना, अनजाने राहों में तू क्या ढूंढता फिरे।
Woo!